18-year-old to death. When we arrived on scene, lots of blood on the bus shelters, metal vents, and also on the concrete here. That 16-year-old girl, we're told, is now in police custody. Then about 15 minutes after police left the scene, a man walked up to our ABC7 Live truck and said he had been shot and was thirsty for water. Saw blood coming from the man's body, helped him down to the pavement, dialed 911, and then gave the man a water bottle. Police say they have not made any arrests and add that that man is expected to survive. Still, people in this neighborhood certainly unnerved.
I couldn't take it. I still can't take it at this time. Right now, it's just too much for me. Just even holding this conversation is too much for me. It's moving backwards.
It could have been avoided.
How so?
I guess to say sorry and walk away.
And let's be clear here, this fatal stabbing at the bus stop and the shooting did not appear to be connected in any way, shape, or form, but rather they happened in very close proximity and only in a short amount of time here. We're talking just a few blocks. We're live in Southeast. I'm Kevin Lewis. Back to you guys.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Meanwhile, a Prince George's County police officer and her husband, a retired officer, have now been indicted on charges of theft tonight. Prosecutors say Officer Jennifer Sims filed false timesheets for more than 2 years, racking up $200,000 in overtime. Her husband, retired Officer Harold Sims, is accused as an accomplice.
We are in the final countdown to peak bloom at the tidal basin. News Channel 8 and ABC7 are proud sponsors of this year's Cherry Blossom Festival, which is already underway. Now you can already see some pink blossoms of those Yoshino cherry trees starting to pop a little bit now. Once they hit 70% of all the blooms being out, then that's when we'll say we're in peak bloom. Get this, you know that some of these trees are more than 100 years old? That may not be old for many trees, but that's double the life expectancy of most cherry trees like this. So we're very fortunate here. Peak bloom begins tomorrow. So if you go down there and you take any pictures, folks, get some good ones and share them with us. Email us at pics, P-I-C-S, at WJLA.com.
That's right. And the weather was sort of matching the feeling of spring better today than it was yesterday.
Yeah, it's one of these things I look forward to all winter long because when the cherry blossoms bloom, you know the spring weather, if it hasn't started in full, that's just around the corner. So
Exactly.
It's a great time. We're going to start off with that, knowing that the peak bloom will start tomorrow, and realize that the average over all the years is April 4th for peak bloom, so we're running a little bit ahead. And over the past several years, here's the dates of peak bloom. So it's a little bit sooner than recent years for sure. April 10th, the past couple of years, April 9th, the year before that, March 20th, the earliest bloom in recent memory in 2012. So enjoy, and the weather is certainly going to cooperate. Pollen count time now, and in trees, we're in the moderate range again today. Low levels of grass pollen and mold spores. Weeds too early in the season for that. Those are absent. Temperature-wise right now, we're sitting pretty, 61 degrees with a southerly wind at 16 miles per hour. Dew point temperature 29 degrees. That means the air is very, very dry. But the good news is the winds are out of the south. So even with dry air, we're still going to drop probably into the mid-40s in most areas tonight. The mildest night we've had in a number of days. So afternoon temperatures warmer than yesterday, but not as warm as they're going to get tomorrow for sure. 63 in Manassas and Leesburg now. 61 in Winchester. 62 degrees right now in Martinsburg. 59 in Hagerstown. 62 at Andrews. And here's we owe our improving weather fortunes to a southerly and southwesterly flow of winds in the low levels of the atmosphere. Wind speeds now running 12 to 16 miles per hour around the area. Those winds will diminish a bit tonight. They'll flare back up tomorrow, and as they get a bit gustier, that will bring in even more warm air from the south and southwest. So through this evening, you're going to be outside. Going to need a jacket for sure. We'll drop into the 50s, only about 53 degrees by midnight, and then early in the morning, I think we'll be dropping out of the 50s into the 40s. The winds will be turning to the south and to the southwest as well. Now, the features on the weather map this afternoon responsible for all this, a big area of high pressure that was hanging out to the west over the weekend when we had low pressure, giving us the rain and the snow and the mess. Well, this gave us the clearing trend, though slightly warmer temperatures today. As that moves offshore, the warmer airflow gets closer and closer, and that's why we're going to see our numbers tomorrow go from the lower 60s today to the lower 70s tomorrow, mid-70s for the day on Thursday as the core of the warm airflow comes right overhead. Then we look west by late on Thursday night into early Friday morning. Areas of showers and rain ahead of a cold front will move our way. We could well wake up to rain around the area on Friday morning, but this front coming through is pretty progressive, and that means it's not going to slow down. We'll move right through, so we'll get back to sunshine and a bit cooler weather for the day on Friday. So here's how it looks for the next few days. Partly sunny tomorrow, 72, partly to mostly sunny, 75 Thursday, 65 degrees on Friday. And again, for planning purposes, very late Thursday night.